everybody, this is NFT Buyer 777. I am the co-founder of Meta Millions, and today we're going to talk with the co-founder of Joystik. So Joystik is a project that minted yesterday, and they're still minting on Magic Eden Launchpad, and I'm really excited to talk to him about just long-term planning with projects, and then also what it looks like to go through a slow mint, because if you're a project owner, that's something that you have to plan for because they happen sometimes. And so I'm really excited to dive deeper into his experience with a slow mint and what that looks like. So I hope you enjoy it, guys. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for hopping in. I am with the Joystik co-founder, Lee Rue. And today we're going to learn a little bit about his idea, what he's doing with Joystik. I'm really excited about it because I got a few myself, and it's about gaming, and I'm a big gamer. And so I'm really excited about the development of his project, not just the NFT itself. So Lee Rue, before I get into it, tell us a little bit about you, who you are, and then Joystik itself.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is LaRue, and my co-founder is Metaverse Cutie, my fiance, and we founded Joystik, which is creating a matchmaking app for gamers to find like-minded friends, teammates, and clans, and eventually opponents. So a little bit about myself. I come from the Hollywood entertainment industry, where I've worked for the past 10 years. Worked on several Marvel films, and then several, I worked at a studio the past 3 years where I was on the development team we worked for projects all around, set up at Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon, Apple, pretty much anything you can name, NBC, Universal, all around. So that's what I've been doing for the past 3 years. And at the end of 2021, I decided to leave my job in the creative development side of things to pursue Joystik. So I just put in my resignation and went all in on this Joystik NFT launch in order to get the funding, because I just have a bigger passion for this than I do for the entertainment industry right now. And that wasn't always the case. I mean, I've always had a passion for the creative development side of things and film and entertainment overall, especially in video games. But Joystik, I just know it'll be so big, and I just wanted to leave my job and just start doing things right away.
Yeah. So something that I think is really cool is you guys are creating a matchmaking system, much not like Tinder, but kind of like Tinder, where you can go through profiles and you can just say, oh, I want to, because for me, I love playing League of Legends, and I don't have time to grind now because I have a full-time job, and then I also like doing NFTs, and that takes up most of my life. But back in college and when I was really grinding League, I would have loved to connect in with more people that wanted to grind themselves, So not specifically League, but how did this idea come about?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so just like you, it was towards the end of college where some of my friends in college were graduating, moving on, and then eventually I graduated, and it was just like our video game network that we used to play with all the time was just falling apart. And I was like, all right, I need to find some friends to play with. Either our schedules didn't line up, our game preferences didn't line up, our skill level didn't. There were all of these different preferences that I was like, you know what, I wish I could just put into an app and then filter there's 2 billion gamers in the world, at least. It's pretty wild to me that it's hard to find the perfect match when playing a game. So I joined, they're called Looking for Group Chats on Discord, where you can just type in your preferences. So you would just go into let's say Fortnite, you join their server, you go to their Looking for Group Chat and type in your preferences and just say hey, I'm looking for someone 18 plus in this skill level who's trying to play competitive duos, something like that.
Right.
But that's just not efficient. Plus you
and it feels clunky,
Yeah, just the user experience of it all is very out of the way. I will say it gets you an immediate match, because for Fortnite, at least, there's so many people looking at that channel where they'll just be like,
Right.
hey, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
But that's never the ideal match. They could just be anyone. Whereas we're trying to get below the surface and like really try to get into things to make sure that our algorithm not only works well, but it's also going to be a smart algorithm where it'll tell like when you match with someone and then realize they're not the right match, you'll be able to be like, hey, like this is not what I want to match with anymore. And our algorithm will be able to learn that along the way, so that you are really only presented with people that may interest you. And like you were saying before, this won't just be a competitive app. Like, yes, it'll be great if you're trying to grind League or whatever you may be playing. But also, like you said, your schedule ended up changing. You don't feel like grinding anymore. Yeah. Right now, you could go into the app and just be like, hey, here's what my life is like. Here's how things are. And you would find someone that's the same way.
Right.
You know, because there's, once again, millions of other people that are doing the same thing as that, have the same preferences, and you'll just be able to find them a lot easier.
And that's so interesting, because if you do the Discord way, you can definitely find somebody. But if I were able to put in, hey, I'm changing from like wanting to grind, because if I know for me personally, if I would have been in college and I wanted to just really get good at the game, and I matched with someone that was more like me now, where I'm just kind of relaxed, I'm a little laid back. So what if I have a, bad game? I would get a little frustrated, So if Joystik is able to do something like that, where they're able to connect me and how I want to play with another person that wants to play that style, that is so interesting. And what really caught me when I was learning about your roadmap and what you guys wanted to do, and also something that I could really just get from the way you guys are in Discord and how you connect with people, and the way you put your roadmap together is your passion for this, like creating something that not only you can build as a business, but something that you would have liked yourself. Well, tell me a little bit about how that developed and where it comes from, and why it inevitably made you want to leave some of the coolest names in the business. Netflix is a big name.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say, I mean, this has been on my mind. I originally thought of it end of 2019. Like October 2019 is when I had the idea, and I was just like, hey, this would be cool. Right. Then I eventually started taking action in 2020 and just started like making very cheap prototypes, trying to do some of it myself as well, just to like have a proof of concept in general. Right. Then we took it to investors early 2020 and ended up getting an offer from an angel investor. It was the first one we went to, only one we went to. And we were like, hey, here's this, they're interested. And then the deal making process went on for months and just dragged on and on and on, only to come to the conclusion that like they were valuing us way under what we wanted to be. And I don't think that it's beneficial for us or them to be taking so much percentage like early on in our business life. Whereas later down the line, I mean, we need to do more rounds of funding. It's not beneficial if the company gives away a massive amount in their angel investing rounds. So we ultimately declined the offer and like, hey, let's just make the money, try to develop the prototype ourselves, develop the beta version, and we will figure that out. So NFTs blew up in middle of
2020, really? 2020, 2021.
Yes, I actually messed up my timeline. I meant that angel investing happened beginning of 2021. Okay. At end of 2020 is when we were putting together everything. Early 2021 was that angel investing. Okay. Then, so it was now summer 2021. We were looking for different ways to just like make an extra buck on the side in order to be able to fund the app. So of course, NFTs, you're like, oh my God, like get rich quick, like buy this NFT, flip it for 50K. So obviously that caught my attention. I just started doing research. I originally got into NFTs to sort of figure out how I can make money. I never really started buying or flipping NFTs, as I just wanted to learn the space in general at first. And the more I learned, the more I realized how well NFTs actually integrated into our idea. we
Right.
already knew that we were going to create like a Fortnite item shop, wearable marketplace for the avatars. So why not make them into NFTs so that they
Right.
aren't only sellable on the app and elsewhere? And then we
Mhm.
were like, you know what, we can also raise money with the Founders Club and make sure that we give back to the original people who helped fund our idea uh,
Mhm.
early on. So I mean, that's what the NFT drop is. It launched yesterday.
Mhm.
There's 3,333, and the first day we sold out about 1/3 of the collection. Uh, I mean, in the NFT ecosystem, if it doesn't sell out right away, there's obviously doubts about the collection,
Right.
but we have no worries about selling out in the future
Mhm.
because we already have that base money to begin to prove ourselves. Really, uh,
Yeah.
like literally once we hop off this call in 30 minutes, I have a meeting with our development team. We're starting
Mhm.
development right away. We're already in talks with lawyers to figure out how we can better benefit the Founders Club, and that includes what our goal itself is to put revenue sharing into it, but with the
Mhm.
SEC and United States regulations, that's always
Yeah.
difficult to do. So we are trying to
Yes.
find, I guess, like loopholes in the system in order to benefit our holders. But unfortunately, like pretty much like passive income from NFTs is illegal, or I guess the NFT needs to be a security in order for that to
Yeah.
happen.
Let me
And
just pause you there
yeah,
because not enough people in the NFT space realize how important it is for future growth. So what I mean by this is the tax man is coming. The tax man comes for us all in the end. And so a lot of NFT projects aren't thinking about this. They're just in it for the money, or they're in it for 3 months or shorter. And hearing a project owner say, hey, I know the tax man's coming. And because of that, I want to position myself now so that when it comes, I'm fine. I've already done all of the legal work beforehand so that when this massive hurdle comes, I'm good. I built a business so that it would succeed long term. And that's what not enough people realize, because that is so important for the future growth of the NFT space as a whole, but then also a business that's building something in the NFT space. So it's really exciting for me to hear you say something like that. Hey, we don't want to do this because it may sound good, but it's not going to be good in the end.
yeah, I think that with a lot of people don't realize how few people are in the NFT space, especially in the Solana NFT ecosystem. I
Right.
mean, I don't even know if there are a million people who hold a Solana NFT.
No, I don't think so.
Like, yeah. So that's the thing. We are creating an app that will have millions and millions of users. We
Mm-hmm.
quite literally, by the end of the year, could double or more the Solana ecosystem just
Mm-hmm.
from our app alone. Because
Right.
like we are thinking about it as a longer term vision, whereas a lot of these other projects, maybe they are thinking about it in the long term, but they're doing everything under the radar or are just luckily located in a place where they can do that legally.
Right.
But that's the thing, is that like, although decentralization is great, in order to make a mainstream large scale app like this, we need to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that we do take the legal precautions so
Yeah.
that we just don't get like bit in the ass 2 years from now or less. It
Yeah.
could literally be
Yeah.
months. But
Yeah.
I mean, this will be a very well-known brand, and we're making
Mm-hmm.
sure that we take every step necessary to make sure we don't screw ourselves in the end.
Yeah. That's important. Now, talk to me about a slow mint, because for me personally, that doesn't really bother me. I've been in slow mints before. I buy for specific reasons. Sometimes I'm in it for the flip. Don't get me wrong. Everybody likes a good flip, but I, that doesn't really bother me. And I just want to, coming from a project perspective, how is it going through a slow mint? Not selling out in 5 seconds.
Yes. So let's first go back to October of last year, a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that is when we originally launched this collection. This
Mm-hmm.
collection was originally supposed to be on Ethereum.
Okay.
So you're like, all right, this project has failed once, why should I invest?
Mm-hmm.
Well, think back to end of October last year, and it was the absolute bottom of the bear market.
Yeah.
Our project 2 weeks prior had extreme hype. We grew 4,000 members in 2 or 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
It was absolutely chaotic. Everyone was hyped. Everyone loved the idea. And then the bear market hit and people just slowly started to like fade out from the picture. So while people are starting to fade out, the gas at the time on Ethereum was also increasing. So gas at the time of our mint was $400 plus. So we pushed it a day. That did absolutely nothing. The gas at the end of the day was still more expensive than our NFTs themselves. And so yeah, that collection, there ended up being about 30 holders who actually minted the NFTs. Mm-hmm. And they just believed in the project and are still in the Discord today. You can see them as the OG Founders Club members.
That's awesome.
And they've just believed in the project the whole time. And even that, if that didn't happen, we wouldn't be around here today. So they knew that like, hey, we need to support this. Imagine an entire collection and no one buying at all besides 30 people. When there were over 800 people on the whitelist, there were thousands and thousands in the Discord. And overall, we had a hype project. And then the bear market and gas just hit us hard.
Yeah.
So I've already been through this before where only 30 people mint. Right now, I mean, there's over 1,000 that NFTs that are minted. Like that, this is really nothing to me because, dude, like that day where only a few people minted, because I mean, it was 30 minted throughout like a month or so. That first day was maybe like 10. Like that absolutely hit hard, but we still were able to, we were like, hey guys, like we're going to pause this. We're going to figure out how to relaunch on Solana so that this gas thing cannot happen again. Mm-hmm. And that's what we did. And out of those, there are about 40 or 50 minted NFTs on the Ethereum collection. And not a single one of those listers, not a single one of those holders listed their NFTs. Yeah. Which I think should say something about the project, that they actually believe that we were going to deliver, and that's what we're doing and benefiting them along the way. So, I mean, we were able to provide for those 30 people. Right now, we already have more than that and are being able to already start development right after this. We're kicking things off. And I think that anyone who's in the Founders Club right now knows that we will deliver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how do you feel like that pivot going from Ethereum to Solana? Are you satisfied with that change?
Absolutely. Yes. So at first, I mean, I had heard about Solana, but I had never actually used it until the middle of beginning of November, I would say, when everyone was like telling me like, hey, I was more familiar with Polygon at the time, and that's what I was going to go with. And then they were like, hey, actually, you should check out Solana. And I was like, all right, like maybe we can figure out something with Solana art and do all of that. And then they were like, no, dude, Solana art is like outdated. Magic Eden's the next thing. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I definitely was a noob at the time and just started educating myself in the space. Ended up working for other Solana NFT projects such as Soul Socks. And I've just really spent the last few months sort of building out my network in Solana, as well as learning about the ecosystem overall. And in my opinion, for the app, I mean, who doesn't like the gas fees that are pretty much zero?
I know. It's like 0.0005 cents.
Yeah. Like I don't really think that Ethereum, even if it is Ethereum 2.0, that will still have like $5 gas fees, $10 gas fees. Yeah. It won't be a fraction of a cent. And yes, Solana does have its downsides. And with the sort of user base growing, it is having some issues with the scalability aspect, but they're already working on that. They know what's coming. This is the most ideal blockchain for the mainstream. Yeah. So that's what we plan to build our app on. Our app originally will not support any blockchain because we plan for the mainstream mainstream scale, and they don't like they don't like blockchain and crypto.
Right.
So we aren't going to brand ourselves. Like you'll see in the summer, we're going to rebrand as like pretty much get rid of all crypto terminology altogether.
Mm-hmm.
We'll launch the app. And then later on, when Solana is actually ready for those millions of users, I hope to actually be able to talk with like the Solana team, make sure that they're ready, make sure that like this app that will have millions of users doing transactions daily within their like marketplace / like Fortnite item shop type thing. I mean, Solana's got to be ready for that. And we're going to make sure that we're taking all the precautions necessary for the scalability side.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, scaling is really important to think about. Just when it comes to the mainstream, getting 1 million, 2 million plus people, not everybody's, it's going to be really hard to scale if you need to make $300, $400 gas fee. That's not scalable.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you hopping on. It's really interesting learning more about slower mints, how you plan to grow and still grow. And the fact that you've covered a lot of the programming fees is really important. And something that I think not enough people take into consideration of building afterwards. How does a slow mint continue to build? And I think you have a great take on what you guys are doing. That's really interesting.
Yep.
But yeah, I really appreciate you hopping on, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I mean, yeah, we have 5 more days on the Magic Eden launchpad before that mint stops. And by then, I think we will sell out. If not, we will present the options to the community and let them vote on like what the next steps are. We'll be like, I know a lot of people are just saying cut the supply, but like that's not ideal for the project overall if you truly understand our vision, because we need that funding. And at the end of the day, 3,333 NFTs that will have like, since our app will have millions of users, every single one of them will know about this collection and want to be in it. I think that 3,000 is definitely low enough for that collection. But also in general, I mean, we have some upcoming announcements over the next week, which I think will kick things off, including our marketplace partner. Since we are not building our NFT marketplace alone, we plan to partner with a well-known marketplace.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, shout your stuff out, social media. Who should they follow? Where they link up with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go to our Discord, which is discord.gg/joystik, and joystick is spelled with only a K, not CK. Then our Twitter is joystick, once again, just the K, _app, joystick _app.
All right. And I'll go ahead and link those two, guys. Well, I really appreciate it. And I'm glad we were able to get some time together.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on.
All right. See ya.
See ya.